It's time for No Pad Sports Talk. Stay tuned as two brothers bring you the latest from your Michigan teams and beyond in hockey, baseball, football, and more. Let's get started. Here are your hosts, JD and Steve.
Oh, welcome to another edition of No Pad Sports Talk. I am one of your hosts, JD.
And I am Steve, and as it may look like I'm cold, it's because I'm a little cold.
You're a little cold.
I am, I'm in the basement, in my office, got a little heater going, but supposed to be one of those brutal cold tonight. Like, I say brutal, supposed to get down with the wind chill like minus 15 tonight, so.
Cold enough.
That's cold. That's cold. So, for all those listeners or any of those listeners that are out there in that warm weather, soak it in, people. Soak it in.
Well, we are here on a Friday night. It's currently around 8:15. We are looking to do our pregame for the Lions Divisional round playoff at home, which is going to be another exciting game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. You know how awesome it is to be talking Lions football, like relevant Lions football, in late January? I mean, it's mid-January, it's the 19th, but, we're getting to that point where it's almost late January, and we're talking about relevant Lions football in the month of January.
Yeah. Incredible, right?
It is the coolest feeling ever.
And I read this. I didn't even think about it. I didn't put it together, but I read this, and I was like, oh, yeah. Because all we hear about really is first Lions, playoff win, in 30 years and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what I didn't think about was this could be the first time in the franchise history, since Super Bowl era, I should say, that the Lions could win 2 playoff games the same year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just never thought about it that way.
Yeah. Well, because when they lost to, I think it was the Washington Redskins back then.
I think it was Washington, yeah.
Right, in the NFC Championship game. So they won their divisional round.
Yeah.
To make it to so that was only one playoff game, right?
Yeah.
So they weren't the wild card that year. So they got to play in the divisional round and then made it to the NFC Championship game.
And then got blown out.
So, well, by the eventual Super Bowl champion.
That is correct.
I'm going to put that out there because, on that game, because it was the Redskins versus the Lions, I was going to be a winner either way. Now, I was a much bigger winner because I was a much larger Washington fan than I was Lions fan back then. Right?
Yeah.
But that's back when the Lions were winning, lots of football games. And then, Joe Gibbs left. And then, what's his face? That piece of crap owner bought the team and just ran it into the dirt.
Yeah.
So, here's hoping the new ownership group that includes Magic Johnson can turn this team around. My heart team. Right, I love the Lions, and I do. And when you grow up here, how's this? For those of you who don't remember, the Lions were so bad that they couldn't sell out home football games. And if you can't sell out a home football game, you don't get to watch your Lions play football.
Yeah,
right. So
they're on the radio.
You had to listen to it on the radio. Right.
But in fairness, too, they were playing in the Silverdome, which was one of the largest stadium. I think if it was one of the largest, not the largest stadium, with over 80,000 seats at the time.
Absolutely. So that was not the greatest thing ever. But bottom line is that some people don't remember that, right? Because back then you didn't have. You had cable TV, right? Mm-hmm. But there was no NFL Red Zone. No NFL Network. There was, all these other options to watch this game. DirecTV, the Sunday Ticket. You couldn't get the game.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Because we were inside that marker living in Flint.
Yep.
Right. So if we wanted to watch it and it was going to air, you had to leave outside. Was it a 50-mile radius or 75-mile radius? It was something. But anyway, yeah. So it's really nice to turn on your game now and say, hey, because there were a couple of years we weren't sure if we were going to get to see the Lions play in Thanksgiving. Right? Until some corporation came in and bought up a bunch of tickets.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to the good stuff, right? We're here to talk about the Lions taking on Tampa at home for the divisional championship game. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Divisional playoff.
Divisional playoff game. So this is the right to go and play in the NFC Championship.
Yeah. It's a big game, obviously, right?
It's a huge game.
So, yeah, I think, when we're talking earlier on about, like, what we kind of wanted to cover, right? There's not a ton to say, about this game. I think you were right when we talked earlier about the main storyline is us having a divisional round here at home. That's huge. And, and really anything beyond that is just one of those, like, it's cool, right? I guess, like, it's cool, but it's, but it's something that everybody talks about, right? I don't know. Like, so for us, let's look at something different. Let's look at what you suggested, and we go back and look at the last time the Lions played Tampa. Now, we played them in Tampa earlier this year.
We did.
I think it's key to know, like, that game against Tampa, the Lions are missing a lot of players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gardner Johnson was on IR. Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonah Jackson, James Mitchell. None of those guys played.
I think Montgomery was out.
Well, Montgomery went out like in the first quarter or something. Only had like six touches.
Yeah.
So, and if you look back at those stats, like they only had 40 yards rushing or something that game because all they had was Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds had 10 carries for only 15 yards.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, like that's. So the game was put on Jared Goff's back. Jared Goff threw 44 times in that game for 353 yards.
That was a big game. That's one of his biggest games as far as yardage and number of attempts.
Yeah. So, and knowing that we're gonna, healthy Montgomery, healthy Gibbs, Jonah Jackson, and offensive lines coming back, like,
right.
So, the Buccaneers are calling this the revenge tour, ever since they, beat the Eagles because they lost the Eagles earlier in the year. So now they get to play the Lions, who lost to the Lions. So they're saying, it's a continuation of the revenge tour. But, two things, though, about that is I don't think the Lions are going to be using the same type of plays in this game. So this can be completely different because, again, of the two out the running backs. And secondly, the Ford Field crowd. Look, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember, brother? Like we were talking about the pregame against the Rams. I made like a honorable mention to the fans, and I said I think the fans are going to cause some timeouts to get used, and I said I think that's going to come up big at the end of the game. And what ended up happening? Like the Rams used 2 timeouts early in the second half, and they didn't have them to stop the clock after they, after the Lions had the ball, and Lions got that first down, didn't have the timeouts, and that was it. That was the game. And now, same thing's going to happen. So Bucks come in here in this environment with our fans against a different Lions team than they've seen earlier in the year.
Yeah. Look, and Coach Campbell said it after the game, right? Not just in the locker room, because everyone's probably seen, talking about the locker room the speech, and he was handing out game balls. But he was talking to the press afterwards. He says, I have never seen this place this electric. Like, you could just feel the energy in that stadium. Like, and this was before the game, throughout the game, right?
Yeah.
So it is a different environment now coming into Ford Field, right? It really is. And that matters, right? It matters that we have our top 2 running backs healthy. Jamo is going to play, right? Sam Laporta, while he wasn't super significant last week, contributed to that game, right? Even if I think I felt like they got him out there just to take a couple of hits just to see how he was feeling, And it just, Josh Reynolds, right?
Yeah, some big game and some big catches.
Yeah, he did. Like, early on, he was the guy, right?
Yeah.
So, offensively, man, it was just clicking, right? So, having that back and, going against the Tampa Bay team now that, Baker Mayfield, these games, we played them early. They played the Eagles early. Baker Mayfield's still trying to figure out the system. Like, I mean, you could say a whole bunch of stuff, like, in defense, but Baker Mayfield's playing some of his best football ever.
Yes, he is.
Right? So, I don't want to – this is no slouch game. When you look at the games that Tampa plays, like, in their offense and our offense, while I feel like our offense has way more explosive players on it, our offense, I think, runs pretty much the same, right? We want to run the ball. Tampa likes to run. They want to run the ball, right? They're going to do play action, but they're going to take some deep shots. And that was really the key that I wanted to talk about was when you look back at that game we played in Tampa, how many deep balls did Baker Mayfield miss?
I was going to bring that up.
Right?
Yeah, and it's like 3 deep balls.
Yeah, and because we were beat deep, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this game could have changed. The score could have changed easily in their favor, right? Even if he connects on one of those, right? It just changes the feel of the game. So, that's him trying to get used to his receivers. What kind of speed do they have? What's their route running looking like? Because what we played them in, was it week 3, 4? No, it was later than that. It was week 6, 7. So it was almost near halfway through the season. But if anyone remembers when Tom Brady first went down there to Tampa, it took even the GOAT some time to acclimate himself to the players around him before things started clicking.
Right.
And then he took them to a Super Bowl, right? I feel like this has a kind of the same feel. Baker Mayfield is no Tom Brady. He's not. But you know what? And I'm going to say this, and I might get railroaded for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Baker Mayfield is like a Detroit Lion, right? He's a super gritty quarterback, right? And he
was cast off.
Yeah, he was a cast off, right? And he's showing what he can do. When he has the team around him and an offense that works the way he works, right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about this. I thought he would have been a good fit in Detroit as a backup quarterback. Like, because I didn't want to get rid of Goff, right? But I liked how Baker Mayfield played, right? And I always felt like he got a bad rap. He got a bad rap when he was with Cleveland. So, Tampa's going to – I assume Tampa's going to give him an extension, even if it's 2 or 3 years,
Yeah,
for some modest money. We won't call it big dollars, but it'll be modest money, right? So, I figure he'll probably make 15 to 20 a year down there at Tampa over 2 or 3 years, and I think he's earned it, right? So that being said, he can be scary now that he's hitting that deep ball is connecting, right? We saw it against Philly, like the misdirection plays that they had. Like, and Philly's got a better secondary than we have, and I don't know what happened. Like was it the tight end was able to stop and turn around? Was it this game? I might be confusing the games.
Well, I guess overall is Philly's been a mess the last 6 weeks. So I mean, it's tough to say. Like typically, Philly should be better. We know that, but like whatever's going on inside the locker room has everybody rattled, and the games and they haven't played up to their potential. You know, that we know. But,
exactly. They lost 5 of their last 6 games. I think that's bad. Not good.
So but going back to the noise level, that set a Ford Field record, and not only that, but it was the 4th loudest noise level in a stadium of all time. The loudest, of course, being an Arrowhead. But that's back in 2014. In fact, the three times it's been louder than Ford Field has all been, many years ago, like 2014, 2015, 2016. So like the noise level is insane, to the point where Baker Mayfield actually called some of his friends at the Rams on the Rams team and asked them, was it really that loud? Like, was it really that bad? And because he just wanted to know like what they have to do, to counter the noise level. So like Baker Mayfield's already checking it out. There's been an ask. So everybody watching this, listen up. The team made an ask of the fans. They said that the team was really loud as they approached the line, but they said that they would like the fans to try to be loud while the offense is in the huddle too. And try to get some miscommunication or whatever inside the huddle, not just at the line of scrimmage.
Well, to me, that's important. In the huddle is almost as important as when they're at the line, if not more important, because if they're missing like the snap count, because it's hard for them to hear, right? That's false start, right? If they can't get the play because they can't hear the play, can't get the play in fast enough, that's the delay a game, timeouts, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just like against the Rams. So
it's definitely
get
important.
loud
and
get loud.
Anybody there, which includes our sister, by the way, she's going.
Yeah. Like sister, brother-in-law, and the kids, the niece and the nephew.
Get loud while the opposing team is on offense.
Absolutely.
Lose your voice. if you don't come back, if you still have your voice when you come back, you didn't do your job.
You did not do your job. Right? Now, of course, there are those, who know how to scream because they do it from down right where they're supposed to, using their diaphragm, not using their throat and their throat.
Yeah.
But if they get down there deep, get it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to be loud, but
gotta be loud.
But yeah, so one thing I want to bring up though too, because you were mentioning about Baker Mayfield, and I think this is an important part of it, because as we mentioned, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was on IR already by the time the Lions played the Bucs, and Iffy wasn't a part of the game plan at that time either. Now they got both of them back, and Iffy, we all know, has been huge, and he's been one of our better cover safeties. So, a lot of those broken plays, where those guys got got open deep, maybe now with Iffy and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, maybe that don't happen, because better talent back there.
Yeah. Well, and I want to give a little love to Vildor. He's had some tough games, like some tough matchups for him, and you can't be perfect. You want to be, you try to be, right? So, yeah, you're going to get beat deep. You might miss a tackle. I get it, but we didn't have him either, and he's not playing horrible. He really isn't.
It's a good call out. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, Vildor has probably been our best outside cornerback. Well, let's put it this way, probably the most consistent. Yeah.
Yes.
Like you said, he got beat, right?
Yeah.
But he plays good against the run. He's made some nice tackles.
Yep.
And he's been our best outside coverage corner. I'm
Absolutely.
not saying he's great by any means, but he's the best the Lions have for an outside corner.
And, he's been very serviceable at that position, right?
Right.
Brian Branch is got much more experience, right? Jack Campbell, I think, has played a little bit better. He's playing a little better, I think, in the run game than he has been, in the pass game, but he's getting better in the pass game. Just don't, whatever you guys do, Lions, don't make Hutchinson try to cover Mike Evans. I get he's an athlete, and I get, you're dropping in the zone, and Mike Evans just might have to be in the zone. It just looks like he's trailing him. Or, anytime I've seen Hutchinson do that, he's falling out. Like, he's almost trying to play man. Right? So, let's let Hutch do what Hutch does.
Well, we're gonna be needing that pass rush.
Yeah,
right?
And that's 7. It's 7 sacks in 3 games for Hutch. So
incredible, right? Like Tampa coming on.
Yeah, and I get the 2 sacks he kind of got against the Rams. Right. Mm-hmm. At least one of those, it was because he's the first guy there that touched him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So someone has to have recorded that sack, and Hutch happened to be there, the guy to touch Matthew Stafford down.
Right.
But
look,
that's not the point. He was there.
He still got there.
He was. Yep. That's right. He was there. That's the thing, right? So, Ali McNeil is playing out of his mind. He's back. He's huge in the middle for us, right? Sounds like James Houston might get activated.
Sounds that way because they had to release a person to make room for him on the roster. So what was it, Julian or Romeo?
I can't remember who it was. But yeah, so I saw that article. I actually didn't even read the name. I just saw they were releasing somebody.
Yeah, Julian.
Because Romeo's been playing okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, better
than he has. Yeah. If we could get Barnes to make a couple of tackles instead of trying to, chest bump people.
Oh, that guy makes me angry.
He's so like, how can you be in the right place on the right call? Like the defense, Glenn makes the right defensive call. You step in right where you're supposed to be and be there before the guy. And then you want to just chest bump him. Hey, all right, moving on. Right?
Yeah.
Look, our run defense is going to be fantastic, as it has been.
Yeah.
Even though, is it Rashawn White? Is that his name? How do you pronounce his name? Hold on. Yeah, Rashad. Rashad White. Rashad White. Has been playing a lot better, here over the stretch. Right?
Yeah.
He just, you're looking at. Let me take a look here. What did he have against the Eagles? Players, teams. Rashad. He had 72 yards against the Eagles. Right? So, he's a young running back.
And both these teams, the Bucs and the Lions, are going to come in this game pretty healthy. Obviously, Khalif Raymond isn't going to be playing. He's already ruled out.
Yep.
But yeah, the other teams.
I don't know how healthy. I'm sure he's getting healthier. But Baker Mayfield is already, he had an ankle injury. They had both his ankles taped up real tight during the last game.
Right.
He had some rib injuries from the week before where he took a shot and he came down on his ribs weird. So, specifically, ankles and ribs, both of those are tough injuries because as a quarterback, you need those areas, right? because you're using that core, you're pulling through with your arm and your shoulder, and you're really pulling on those ribs when you throw a ball, right? You're stepping into the ball, so you're using your feet, you're trying to move around in the pocket. So, and Baker's not afraid to put his nose down and just go get something, right? So that's something that we're going to have to pay attention to, even though I'm sure he'd try and limit the number of hits he's going to take, because who do they have as a backup? An unknown in Kyle Trask. Right? And Trask was a guy you and I both liked coming out of college.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
So it's just he hasn't had that opportunity. He got drafted, and who'd they bring down? They had the GOAT. So he was playing behind him. And then they brought in Baker Mayfield, and he won the job. Everyone expected that he assumed that he was going to win the job. Right? So there's nothing wrong with sitting behind there. Take a look at Jordan Love. Green Bay seems to be able to do it for 20 damn years. More. Right?
Yeah.
So it works. It's a great system. It's one I love because I hate playing a rookie quarterback. Right? And I hate that the pressure is there on coaches and teams to play a rookie because you drafted him so high.
Yeah.
Right? And it used to be different, before the rookie salary cap, right? I think then I maybe understood. Sure. Yeah, I understood it maybe a little bit then because, like with Stafford, we were paying him, $10 or $15 million a year even back then or whatever it was. It was ridiculous for a rookie, right? So to me, it's not as important to play them in their first year. It's not even as important to play them in their second year, right? I think by that third or fourth year, that's when you want to start seeing them starting, because you have an opportunity at that point with the fifth year option to pick it up and then signing the contract, right? So you want to be able to see something at least by that fourth season.
Which, makes us think about Hendon Hooker. I mean, I know this year was kind of a wash for him, but both of us liked Hendon Hooker too coming out.
Yep.
He was having a good year up until then, but yeah, kind of going down a rabbit hole. It happens. So, but going into this game, Jameson Williams also says that he wants the line to set the all-time decibel record, which would be cool, right? Have Ford Field number 1 on that list for decibel record, but and of course he was my pick last game for offensive player of the game. He didn't quite. He wasn't targeted that much. I thought he would be targeted more, but anyways, who would you pick for offensive player of the game though, going into this game with the Bucs?
I'm gonna go with David Montgomery.
Okay.
I'm trying to be a little bit different because the Lions are really good at spreading the ball around. I'm not sure Laporta's not 100% because he was going to be, I think, who I would have taken. But I'm gonna go with David Montgomery. I think he gets 100 yards rushing.
Ooh. Okay. Again, for those out there, we don't pick quarterbacks. It's too easy because they touch the ball every play. I would have gone with Gibbs, initially because I just expect him to pop off. Gibbs is due. But I want to show love to someone else. This is the main reason why I'm going to say this. I want to show love to someone else. I normally don't pick this guy because he's Mr. Consistent. He's always getting his, and he's always Mr. Reliable. Like you have to, and so it might be a little bit of a cop out, just because he's going to get his. We all know it, but it's going to be the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's right. This guy right here. It's so fantastic. He could be picked every week, and he'd come through because he's going to be a 100-yard guy with a touchdown
every week.
Every week.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is amazing, and I'm glad to see he's finally getting the recognition he's been so deserving of for so long and just hasn't gotten.
Yep.
The guy, he's improved every single year.
Yeah.
But what I love about him is the guy. No one works harder than him. Like he kind of reminds me of the Kobe Bryant of football. Obviously Kobe was well known for his work ethic. Just going in there, practicing before anybody else got in the gym, practicing after everybody else left. Like Kobe was known for that. And I think that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. The dude just works. And
so there was another receiver who's probably about built just like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Played for the 49ers. We'll call him the GOAT. I'll call him the GOAT because I think he was the greatest I've seen. Look, Calvin Johnson ranks there. He does. But Jerry Rice, I mean, have you ever seen like some old videos of Jerry Rice just running the hills?
I may have heard about it. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh my God. Like this guy is nuts, right? Like his workout regimen, ridiculous, right? And I saw something recently on social media and it was an old interview and they were talking about him going out. It was the day after the Super Bowl, after they already won the Super Bowl, and he's out on the field running routes the day after they won the Super Bowl. He's like, I was just trying to get ready to win another one. Right? To me, when I heard that, I'm like, the first person I thought about was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Because that, to me, that guy, St. Brown would do that.
It seems like he would. Yeah.
Right?
That type of guy.
Win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to be out. Hey, who's going to throw me? No, I'll just get one of the ball throwing machines, right? And just throw me ball, right? And I'm going to run routes.
Like, well, what does he do? I forgot how many balls it was, but how many balls, like, after practice does he have thrown at him to catch one-handed? And he has to catch, I forgot, like, how many it was. But it was, anyway, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just love the way the guy works, right?
St. Brown is great.
Is second to none. So
absolutely.
And I know.
And I hope he never loses that. I hope he never loses the chip on his shoulder.
I
hope he never loses it.
He's gonna be Tom Brady that way.
Well, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Never lose the chip on your shoulder. So all right. So defensively.
Defense.
I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm gonna pick the same guy I picked last game, Aleem McNeil. I mean, I could go with Hutch. I could go with Iffy. But no, I love Aleem McNeil. He's been my guy. I've talked about him a lot. I'm glad he's back and glad he's healthy.
Yep.
Aleem McNeil, he's another guy that's on the Lions that doesn't get a lot of recognition because he's not a big name. And but Aleem McNeil, he is one of the most important people on that defense. And so I'll go with him.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Alex Anzalone. He's going to get 6 tackles. He just does. That's the guy. That's what he does. And at least a pass breakup. Right? Because I was on the fence. I thought about taking Gardner Johnson. Right?
I thought about taking Iffy.
Right? I feel like we've been utilizing our safeties in a much better fashion lately. Right? But I'm gonna go with Anzalone. I gotta get my wig out. I gotta get the wig out so I can wear it.
A player to watch out for, though, and I think this matchup against the Buccaneers, I think Brian Branch is going to be a guy that's going to get a lot of plays. Against the Bucs. So, like, again, I love Brian Branch, but I think against the Bucs, he's gonna have to show up. I just think it's just gonna, just the way they run their offense. I think that Branch is gonna have a lot of opportunities. That's the way I should put it. But nonetheless, I still want to go with the big man, Aleem McNeil.
Okay. All right. So final score, I'm gonna take the Lions 30-20. And I'm going to throw in a little. Jamo's going to take one to the house for 65 yards.
You know, we had the exact same guess last game. And
we did.
So before you even guessed, I was thinking, what are they going to score? And I had this score in mind before you said your score, and I was going to say 30-21.
Okay. Look, we share a brain, right?
A lot of times we do.
And it just, we know the Lions have the ability to score that many points.
Yeah.
Right. The defense can keep teams under a certain score, which they've shown. So if we can get past, limit big plays, they're going to get one. I get it, right? But we can't have them have a bunch. Limit the big plays and play the defense that we've been playing. I think that our defense is going to score a touchdown for us.
Oh, that would be huge. Has our defense, besides Brian Branch, first game of the year, has our defense scored another defensive touchdown this year?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we've had a lot of great, needed turnovers, but I don't know that they were any as big as the scoring.
Yeah, I don't remember that. No, that'd be huge if they did get a defensive score.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't pick Jamo for my offensive guy, but he's going to have 4 catches and he's going to have 75 yards, and 65 of them are coming on 1 catch.
That'd be awesome.
Be awesome.
Well, because Jamo did catch that bomb against Tampa in the first game there too. So
like a 49-yarder or something.
It was, as he readjusted, came back in, falling into the end zone. That's a good catch.
So, all right. Well, that's us. That's the wrap. I think we're still going to do this one live.
That's my plan. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to be ready for that game. I got asked, some of our friends wanted to go to dinner, and I'm like, well, when we're going to be available? I says, well, Sunday at 3, the Lions are playing, so I'm going to be there. So I don't care if we're going to Lucky's or not and getting the greatest steak ever. It's a really good steakhouse. It's no Fogo, because, in Fogo I can get lots of steaks. This one is just so good.
Yeah, we still got to meet up in Ann Arbor at Texas State Brazil. But
yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
But, all right. That's the show. Pay attention or come back for Sunday. And love to have a chat with you during the game.
Absolutely, guys. Hope you guys take care. If you're in Michigan, stay warm. Or anywhere where it's cold, stay warm.
All right. Talk to you next time.
Yep. Peace.
Sunday. And, of course, the outro is not going to work. And that's okay.
Doesn't matter. It's a great show nonetheless.
It's the first time in a while it hasn't worked. I don't know what's going on, but...
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make the joke. You're getting older. It happens.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I hate that this is happening.
That's typically what we say when that happens. Performance anxiety.
All right.
Hey, brother, I had to do it.
All right. Hey, that's our show. Have fun.
Yep.
Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you on Sunday.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.